All right, Coach. Back home after a couple of tough games on the road. Got St. Louis coming into town.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that matters right now is St. Louis. We have an opportunity at home on Saturday, to continue to fight. And I think that's this time of year what it's about. And, everything from our attention standpoint to our details, our approach, everything has to be centered around doing the best possible job we can to prepare our team to prepare to play against St. Louis. That's all it's about right now for us. It's one day at a time, and it's continue to, obviously pursue that goal. And I think at the end of the day, the better job that we do as a staff, the better job that our team embraces that, at the end of the day, we'll be the most prepared we can at home to potentially play the biggest game, of our season.
You guys obviously aren't getting much reward right now on the court. I wonder just, how you and the staff see that mentally.
Well, I think any team that goes through the journey of a season, through the highs and lows, you have individual confidence issues, you have team confidence issues, and sometimes that can spike in a high, and sometimes that can hit a floor. And I think when you deal with a season like we've dealing with some peaks and some valleys, some inconsistencies, you clearly aren't at the ultimate level of confidence. And I think that's at the end of the day, though, as you're approaching the finish line and there's 100 meters left, do you give in? Do you say it's just too much? And that's not what we're about. So I think at the end of the day, if we as a team or as a staff view individual players or our players in general or our team as drowning, so to speak, in the water and they're going down, we have to find a way to give the lifeline rather than throw more water out there, push them back out. You can't beat it down right now. And at the end of the day, it's Saturday. It's a small window. It's preparation. It's embrace the preparation. It's end of the day, individual guys, keep them treading, keep them going, and find a way through that 40-minute game to play St. Louis the best that we possibly can. You can't worry about what's happened. You can't worry about where we going. It's right now. To give them the best chance as individual players and to give our team the best chance, the only thing that matters right now is today. And that was yesterday upon returning. That's today upon our practice and film. And that will be our game day preparation leading into that jump ball against St. Louis. And I have a lot of respect for St. Louis. You can say each team in our league is at different levels of their season. Some good, some bad, doesn't matter. I look at their personnel and they scare the hell out of us. I mean, they can really, really score the ball. Travis has a fantastic offensive team. Maybe they're a little like us in terms of one side of the ball is a little better than the other, and at times that's held them back. But they have a lot of new guys mixed in with some vets. But I look at their offense, I look at their personnel, and I look at some of the games that they've played throughout the course. They have the potential to get 100 on the road at LaSalle, 95 at home. And you're looking and you're saying, man, they got some weapons. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, man, it's just another really good team. And I don't care the records. I don't care about anything. I just see a good team, and I think a team that at the end of the day is going to come in here and try and get us.
Just to take off from that, in terms of the things that we don't see, whether it's you guys in practice or in workouts or in the locker room or in film, just how would you evaluate what they're giving you at this point?
I think it's at the end of the day, you'd always, as a coach, love better communication. You'd always love better preparation. You always want more attention to detail, but that goes back into the individual guys and where they're at mentally. And I think some of it at this time of year is less is more. Some of it is quicker on the court and more trying to keep their minds a little bit fresh. But I would say, with our group all year, are we dialed in? Are we locked in? Are we that group at the end of the day that has shown consistent improvement, especially from a defensive side of the ball? No. And I'm disappointed in that because I've said this all year long. That's going to dictate how we go, how much better we get defensively within our conference, and how we go along in terms of developing our players. That side of the ball has been a disappointment. I get it. I also think we've shown some signs that guys have really improved, and we've done some things offensively that have shown that we've really grown in that area throughout the course of the season, or even, as a jump from year to year. But the consistent improvement and continually watching guys continue to get better, I'm not disappointed in terms of that. I think more along the lines as a coach, how have I missed the boat in terms of that gel, that connection, that chemistry all the way along the deal? And I think that's where, you look yourself in the mirror and you say, what can I continue to do down the stretch that maybe we have that one breakthrough and we win that game? Because that's what it's about right now. And I think, our group was good yesterday. We got to be really good today. That's it.
You mentioned, looking back, where did I go wrong? Where did the group go wrong? I guess that's the question. Can you look back and see where did I go wrong?
You know, I think you play that hindsight game, you know, every day in practice, every day in a game, every result. I think the time to do that is at the end of the season when things really, you know, are buttoned up. Whenever that time comes, you go back and you really got to research, you know, what you do. I do think that as the season has progressed, there's one thing that's really, really important nowadays, and that is finding a way to develop your players, keep your players, and keep your core group of guys. Whether that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I don't know what it is. Continue to build your roster around stability. And I think as you look at like this team or, you know, other teams, you play a VCU, you start looking around. The age, the inexperience, the constant flow of this is new is very difficult for a group. And I think that's the one thing as a coach you look back on and you say, how are you going to get better as a coach? How are you going to develop this program? That's a big part of the future, is continuing to model how you have to build this thing the right way and do it the right way. And maybe you're learning on the run. You have to fail at some of this stuff right now in terms of the beginning, in terms of massive overhauls and what does it look like. But I do think, you know, just looking, it's been very challenging to be able to sign 19 players before you coach a game in year 2. You know, that's hard now. I mean, I don't care if you're John Calipari or you're me, and whether it's 18 one and dones or whether it's 19, that's a lot of guys now. That's a lot of time spent on recruiting and adding rather than building, developing. So, I mean, we're at a stage right now where we have to figure that part out, but that's for another time.
There are fans, people who watch the team, support the team, maybe starting to get a little impatient. And it seems like you're saying we're in year 2, 19 new guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bottom line is our fans deserve better. They want better, and they should. I'm not naive enough to know, as the coach of a really proud program, that we have to continue to show progress and continue to build momentum towards where we want to get back to and where we want to go forward. And that's part of the territory. Criticism, disappointment, whatever that may be, you have to understand that, like, you're talking to the guy who's been through all of that. I'm not that guy that is going to sit here and say, well, give us some time. No, I know what we have to do. I know where we want to go. And I'm glad that there's disappointment. I'm glad there's frustration, because that means there's people out there who really care. But there's also people that really, really support us and really care about us and continue to love Rhode Island. And, you know, I don't take things lightly, and I know as the head coach of the program where it's got to go. And I'm not going to sit here and baby it, dumb it down, keep it simple. It's challenging times. It's a unique period in college basketball. At Rhode Island, we have our own landscape that we have to navigate, and that's what we have to concentrate on. Good days are ahead. It's just at the end of the day right now, it may not feel as good, but the only thing that really matters is, can we win on Saturday?
Do you feel like you have taken steps this year improving?
There's definite
overall
improvement. I think if you look at some of our players, Connor Dubsky, you watch him the other night. There's very few freshmen in college basketball that can play very little time and continue to stay with it. You look at our young players that we've brought in as high school freshmen, they're good. More freshmen coming in next year that have had excellent seasons. Those things are all going down the line, but I told somebody the other day, they don't care if you're a freshman or a fifth-year transfer anymore. It's kind of like all lost in the wind. You know what I mean? Like, they all look the same to me, Coach. You know, are they getting it done or not? So we have a lot of bright spots. Some of the individual players on our team right now have had the best individual rated efficient seasons of their college basketball careers wherever they've been at. But it pays to win, man. It pays to win, and the credit is given to those who are in the winner's circle, and team success really gives you a little bit more benefit of the doubt. So there's some things under the lines. There's some things statistically. There's some things that people, you know, as I look back at this season and you study it, there's some positives, there is. But the bottom line is the win column, loss column, standings column. Where are you going I get all that, but there are some positives, yeah.
Is it almost, when you were recruited to North Carolina State, it was pretty much pre-internet. It was sort of
chat rooms.
Yeah.
Still newspapers.
Newspapers, and people had a list of maybe the top 100 guys, the top 150 guys.
Yeah.
But they hadn't been able to watch guys play on YouTube. There wasn't, comprehensive, and I almost feel like that builds expectation immediately. Like, this is what this guy was in this grassroots game. He's out here killing a bunch of 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
And they project him onto their own floor.
Yeah.
And it's not always that immediate, is it?
Never. Never the case. Recruiting's has been at another level in terms of exposure. The internet took over. Scouting services took over. Now it's Instagram, it's videos, it's constant content. and you live in a world of hype. You live in a world of 90-second shows. You know what I mean? Back in the day, it used to be 100 evaluations on a kid to rate a kid by Tom Konchowski and Hoop Scoop or whatever it may have been, and their rating systems. And you went out there as coaches and you evaluated guys in every high school game, or and the fans had to wait to see them at the Midnight Madness. There's a lot of hype maybe in an all-star game, but nowadays, 60 seconds, you can get your own opinion on a kid who's going to any school in the country because they're going to post their own videos, or people are going to, that's the market that you're in. So there's a lot of expectations on young people in 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade before they ever get to college. You know what I mean? And some of that is detrimental to, they're dealing with a lot of exterior noise before they ever get to you, and then they deal with a lot of exterior pressure before they ever take the floor as a college player. So yeah, I mean, it's a different world, but it's the new normal, and I think everyone has to get used to that and keep moving forward. But you have to continue, I think, as you continue to evaluate your own situation and how you handle your players and how you recruit your players, of really, it's substance over, so to speak, whatever's going on out there.
You're going to want to be good in every area, obviously. You mentioned this at your press conference coming in, portal, international recruiting, and also prep recruiting here. It looks like with David and Cam and with Hammond and Farrell, it looks like you've
Excellent.
got, long-term guys you've evaluated long-term.
Yep.
It looks like you have a good nucleus building together.
Yeah. Excellent job in terms of the high school process. I actually really enjoy high school recruiting right now more than anything. There's tons of high school basketball players out there getting neglected. There's tons of high school basketball players urging for recruiting at an earlier stage to make decisions. And I think, like, at the end of the day, I've been in this league, I've been in a lot of leagues where those high school players that we have are impact guys at any of those times of year. It's the old school process, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. Know the family, know the A coach, know the high school coach, know the friends, families. You come in with a familiarity, you come in with a belief system, and then you have the 45-day window in the portal. Don't screw it up, right? You know what I mean? Like, do you need 8? Do you need 6? Do you need 2? And I think, part of it is here early on with us, it's been a massive turnover. I hate that. And I think we have to continue to build our bricks at the bottom level, so to speak, with continuing to find ways from a high school process to develop those guys, bring them in, get them old. And maybe that's a 2-year window that you get, I don't know. I don't know, but like, envision high school players coming in on day one, contributing, start whatever, by year 2 being impact guys, and then sprinkle in some of the other stuff. But I think right now, age is important. You look at that game the other night, we play on the road at VCU, and we have first-year players or freshmen out there guarding 5th-year seniors in their 4th school. We have, in many ways, you're gonna have to really be good to be able to hang in there with, 21, 22-year-old when you're 18. It's hard. And I think getting old is the name of the game, and I get that, but there's also a limit to how old you can get with where you're at in your circumstances. In some cases, maybe you get a little older in year 3 or 4 with some guys becoming juniors. I don't know. I think that's all questions that need to be asked and answered, and maybe there's a different time period where you change philosophies as you continue to learn how things are kind of moving at your place. But back in the old days, David Fuchs, Cam Estevez, and Connor Dubsky, there's an excitement level about those young guys that they could be a bright future. Right now, they're being viewed as, he didn't get it done tonight. He's
not ready.
Not ready yet. Disappointed. He's a young guy. What are you gonna do with him? That's hard to do.
Speaking of David, has he been able to practice?
He was probably 75% at VCU. Decided not to play him. Wasn't going to be effective mentally. He did practice a little bit non-contact yesterday. We'll have another evaluation today. He won't be 100% if he plays at 4 o'clock tomorrow, but we're hopeful that he can maybe give it a go today in terms of practice.
And what has Connor Dubsky done to earn more minutes here?
Stayed with it every day. Great attitude, hung in there, hasn't pouted, hasn't quit. Number's been called a few times. Finding a way in practice to give him more opportunity, giving him opportunities here down the stretch, I think is something we need to look forward to. He's got an elite skill, he's got good size, and at the end of the day, I'm not sure he's far off on the other end of the floor compared to what we've been dealing with. So because of the way he's treated this season as a young player, eventually, if you do things the right way, you find an opportunity when your number's called. And I thought last game against VCU, he was a really bright spot for us in terms of how he helped us.
Okay.
That's all good?
All right, Archie.
Yep.